How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. We're looking at Workhorse today. They came out with their Q2 earnings and they didn't do that well, but the stock is up so far today. We're going to go through that. We're going to go through my last video, which I just posted yesterday actually, which kind of breaks down what's happened over the last week with Workhorse, and I'm not going to go into as much detail. I'll link the video here and at the end of the video too so that you can take a look at it. But basically what happened was the CEO went and interviewed on CNBC. He gave some answers to questions that I think really made the shareholders feel pretty good about the stock in general and about the position that they're in. And if you guys don't mind, before we get started, hitting the like button, it really helps out. And then also, if you do want to buy some stocks with WeBull, you can use the link down below to get 2 free stocks, one worth up to $1,400. So, getting into it, this interview you can find on CNBC.com. Just search this here, and you can watch him answer some different questions. The CEO of Workhorse, they basically asked him on Fast Money, how many of these different delivery trucks are they going to be able to sell this year? He said probably right around 300. Then they also asked what kind of cash position they'd be in, because obviously right now, if they get the USPS contract, that's $6.3 billion, they're going to have to expand, right? So they're going to need a lot of capital. He said they're in the best cash position they've ever been in. They're right around 100 million now. And we see that when they announced their earnings today, they're at about $105 million. So that sets them up well going into the future. If they get this USPS contract too, they're going to have to probably raise more capital to be able to expand their ventures and expand their production. But at that point, they could also issue shares. Now, that's not him saying that. That's me saying that. And we'll get to the earnings here in a second. But then the other question was, is that 300 including the USPS contract? And can you give us any news on the USPS contract? He said, can't tell you about that. They're not allowed to, but that does not include the USPS contract. It would be 300 plus whatever the USPS wants or whatever they can produce by then. So that is where they're sitting at now. This was about late last week, I believe, that this came out. But today they came out with their revenue and earnings. So just in short, but we're going to break down exactly what they spent, how they spent, key points from the last quarter. But they had a net loss of about 131 million. They have missed revenue by about 200,000, which might not seem like a lot. For bigger companies, it's not. But they were only at 92,000 in revenue, and they missed it by 200,000. So their goal was right around 280,000 or 270,000, and they were not close to it. But breaking it down a little bit further, they have the release updates and highlights. They officially began production and delivered 3 C-Series electric step vans to Ryder System. They became the first and only medium battery electric vehicle OEM to receive approvals from both the Environmental Protection Agency, so the EPA, as well as the California Air Resources Board, permitting the company to sell vehicles in all 50 states. So they have a good chance to really grow in California based on some regulations that they're putting out. They should be able to sell a lot of vehicles there. They said in the management commentary, in the first half of the year, we accomplished a series of major operational and EV industry milestones, culminating in the first official deliveries of our C-Series trucks to Ryder just a few weeks ago. Additionally, after acquiring the requisite various state and federal approvals in recent months, we are now the only medium-duty BEV OEM permitted and able to sell and deliver our vehicle in all 50 states, which should allow us to further distance ourselves as the first movers in the last mile EV space. Widening our sales funnel through tax initiatives, government programs, and strategic partnerships, all of which we have now. This will allow us greater opportunities to build on our growing backlog. We are now focused on maximizing our efficiency and output as we look to ramp production throughout the remainder of the year to meet our ambitious delivery campaign goals. They then go into some of the highlights from the last quarter, one of which was that Workhorse was able to partner with Lordstown Motors, which then entered into a business contract with Diamond Peak Holdings. So they were evaluated at $1.6 billion, which gives Workhorse about $160 million worth of value from this strategic partnership. They also were able to receive their first purchase orders for their C1000 trucks, which is pretty big. I mean, they had trucks before, but this is a new iteration. They closed a $70 million financing deal through a secured convertible note with a single institutional investor. As we go down, they break down kind of their costs and how they've been expanding their costs over the last year. Nothing of which seems too fishy to me. It's just that they're trying to expand. They need to give initiatives. They need to increase production. They have to increase R&D. They were able to get about $105 million of cash availability, which is huge. And that's really where they ended the call at. So I think that that's really important. They need that to be able to expand. Now, like I said in the last video too, which again I'll link here again, but Mahindra, which is one of the 4 companies that are trying to get the USPS contract, they canceled their bid for the $6.3 billion deal. So that is a good sign for Workhorse. They're one of the last 3 companies. We don't know exactly how long it will take. In the CEO interview, he said 90 days from when they gave USPS the contract. So it could be a few months still, but we don't know. He wasn't sure, or he couldn't really say either. Looking at Workhorse today, the stock is up and down. I think there are a lot of people that are trying to read into this last earnings report, and I don't think you can really do that with this, right? So you buy Workhorse not for the steady growth or the earnings right now, but the potential for this USPS contract. They're down 3% on the day. I think if you're looking to buy in, and of course I'm not a financial advisor, so do your own research, but I think now is a pretty good time. I think that a lot of people are scared just because of the earnings report. They were up to about $21 a share before. Now they're back down to about $16. But what you're buying now is the potential for this increase in earnings and increase in revenue. You're not buying for this last quarter's revenue. They were also able to increase their value by about $160 million from that Lordstown deal. So I think that's massive too. I think that we're going to see the price fluctuate a lot over the next couple days, and I don't think that's anything to be worried about. I think that's normal for a growth stock like this. I would not be worried if it goes up and down. Really, what you're looking for is that USPS contract. That's going to be what really sends the stock up. Or if another company bows out, or if there's some kind of information that comes out that says that Workhorse will probably get the contract, that's also something that could send this stock shooting up. But until we get that information about the USPS contract or get more information in some other way, I think that this stock isn't going to really increase in value a lot. As we see here today, it can go up and down 3, 5, 10% in a day with no problem. So let me know your thoughts below. I appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Again, if you don't mind hitting that like button, it really helps out. I went on vacation and some of my videos didn't do too well just because they weren't on current stocks like this. They were more based on like long-term ideas. So please give me the thumbs up and then comment down there. Again, if you want to use those links down to WeBull or even M1 Finance, any of that stuff really helps out the channel. So I appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. Hopefully you are having a good day and maybe buying some Workhorse. Let me know if you are. I bought $100 of Workhorse last week, I believe. So I am still pretty happy with that decision. I don't care that it went down 5% or whatever it is over the last week since I bought it. I am happy with buying it. So thank you so much. I appreciate it, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.